Okay, things seem to be going a little bit screwball-y today. Hopefully everything will be fine now. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright & Co. offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew the SO9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dog killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about those killings but me. Lana wanted Joe convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean? What happened to you? It's all there in that file. Joe Jog's last victim was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what do you have to do with these killings, Emma? On the night prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dog tried to kill me. He tried to kill you?! Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was the one trying to save me. So that means... Yes, I was a witness in the Joe Dog trial. I didn't see that one coming. It's neither than Joe Dog. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. It's becoming just like Mia and Maya. Then, suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dog. It seems like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I don't know what I didn't know what was going on. Just then, the prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dog tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture. I don't remember the moment when Dog stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No. I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be Lana. Well, she made up the crime. Made it up? Wait, you mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it is true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today. She must not have been able to face up what she did, especially not to Emma. So what did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Doc knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl? I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, it must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I would become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies! And find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room were right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her. I personally don't see what the issue is, but clearly Wright does. So at least one of us has an idea of what's going on. Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago? And how the SO9 incident was the reason you transferred to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Can you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of elevations were uncovered in the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshal can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana! I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth! It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana! What the witness, what Miss Starr said about you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand! Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! They still talk about that case she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of the police back then, but he still worked in the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever! They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed! Oh, really idolized your big sister. But now you're a chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use the experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SO9 case was critical to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. So, about the dog investigation. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Doc. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon... Was Damon Gant, right? Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Duck was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Doc. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us? Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Doc that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Doc must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the offices shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. To Deputy Chief Gant and myself, I read that completely in the wrong voice. That's where he found me. So, you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana. It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Doc. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim. Emma, who had passed out. And the suspect, Joe Doc. During the struggle, it seems that Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Doc had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carrying her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. Ugh, I'm having a stroke or something today. Goodness me. After that, I placed Doc under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SO9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago! At least one person went to the extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Doc. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Doug at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Seems kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems to be the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. Okay, so I can't get to the thing from here. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall! I never thought things turned out the way when I woke up this morning. Okay, Sarah, you never know where life leads you, eh, Bambina? Should've known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? It must have been his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. So, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But, Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why did prosecutors head west? Or prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean by fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the motor weapon. The motor weapon? Oh, wait, you mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joey Doc's alright. But, in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. Wait, what does that mean? It means there is a no good chance that knife was not the motor weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SO9 incident left behind? I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother? He was 27 at the time. Oh, shoot, my age. It was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? Oh wait, you mean... the king of prosecutors. I knew it. What are you looking at me for? Looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SO9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. The same day as the evidence transfer. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired and I was demoted and boxed away into a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioner would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Dim and Gann and Lana Skye. Wait, what? The investigation led Dim and Gann and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person in the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both their careers. After that case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's... After that case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah. Dim and Gann, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew it said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said the same thing. Tell me! What happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It's all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edwards isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't believe you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Happy trails. That's a little sad. Alright, to the underground parking lot? No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that, on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead, it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Mr. Edwards isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, it was Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Alright, this is not going the way I expected it to. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. It must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the detectives about what to do, about Mr. Edwards, not to mention our statements to the media and Janelle's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other side of the building to take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limits! Now you see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the Chief's office. Okay, it's that organ. I'm waiting for him to play Bowser's theme from Mario World. Also, I see the broken statue over on the left-hand side in the back of that photograph. Also, when I read Chief, I thought it was going to be Gant, not Chief of Police. Whoa! Where am I? In the Chief's office, silly. At least, that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought it was a genius until blah 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 blah. I never could remember where the C was. Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading on his desk. So, righto! How have you been swimming lately? No I haven't. I've been kinda busy lately. I can't appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconnection and a lot of provocating statements. Provocating statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See the big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me! Oh, so this is Neil Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall, not Marshall's brother, Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Oh wait, there's a blade on that. I don't think Edward's thing has a blade. So wait, is that what killed Mr. Marshall? Gant's team picture added to the court record. Anyways, I like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that I need to attend. I'm gonna lock up here, so let's get at it together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has been long since been over. There's no need to investigate it any further. All the same, we would still like to have a look around. Perhaps he didn't hear me. I said there was no need to investigate anymore. Now, hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the Chief's office. Yeah, this is just a shield. Oh, not that. Oh, I can't, like, look at anything specific. But yeah, behind Officer Neal's left shoulder is the statue of the thing that we have. And again, the Chief of Prosecutors' reward / trophy has a blade on it, which the current one is just a broken shield. If I can stop hitting the wrong button. Yeah.